Welcome to Postgame on the Pitch. I'm Mas Vida Mara, and I've got the trio of the best voices we have here. To my right, Stephen Hagan of Radio Cascadia, Nico Moreno. Who are you representing?
How you doing? Well, SB Nation, Sounder at Heart.
That man. And John Marshall, who you got?
MLS Great Britain.
Okay, fellas, let's get right to it. All right, let's start with Stephen. Sounders win 1-0. What takeaway from this?
What a gutsy performance from the Seattle Sounders. Drastically overmatched tonight, I think many will say, against a very, very prestigious Liga MX side in Chivas de Guadalajara, and they gritted it out and took a 1-0 result. I think that this is a big result for the league, and I think it's impressive that Seattle got it done.
Nico, what did you see, if we're going to take Stephen's primacy that Seattle gutted it out? What was Seattle able to do to pull this win out?
Oh, they were able to, first of all, hold on. I mean, I think that they were a sound team defensively. I think Stephen Fry was the player of the game by far, was able to get a couple of important saves. That one-on-one on Pulido might have possibly changed the outcome of the entire game. Almeida just said it during the press conference. Had that goal gone in, perhaps the game would have been different. So I think initially that's what they did, was just held on to a 0-0 score. Not giving up an away goal is huge for CONCACAF Champions League, so I think that's big time.
Yeah, Stefan makes that 30-minute save. We go in halftime at 0-0. They go into halftime. We went and got some snacks. John, what did Seattle do in the second half? Because they got 12 shots in the second half.
Oh, and they came out with a lot of energy, with a lot more pressure on the ball than they did in the first half. I think in the first half, Chivas was really putting pressure on the ball, and the second half was the exact opposite. They created a lot more chances because of that. They had more possession. Bringing Henry Wingo on, made a big difference as he got balls down the sideline and crosses in the box and ended up getting the assist on the Dempsey goal to give the Sounders a 1-0 win.
What is it about Wingo that makes him so special?
You know, he's a great box-to-box midfielder. He's a guy who's been able to get fit quickly at the start of the year for Sounders, and that's one of the reasons he's getting so many minutes, as well other guys trying to get up to full speed. He's already there. He's a big guy. He's got a big frame. He's very quick. He's good with both feet. He's a really prototypical box-to-box midfielder for MLS, this league right now, for a guy who can be successful in every phase of the game.
And we're seeing his ability, not only like you say, Stephen, to go from box to box, but his vision. Not only his physicality, but his ability to read the game is maturing. Nico, disappointment on the Chivas side?
Absolutely.
Missed opportunities. I know we talked about the Fry save, but what else? What are the opportunities were squandered there in the second half?
I think the team just simply was not able to be crucial or clinical in front of goal, and I think that he was huge for the team. I think Pizarro having that injury affected the play, because he's a key player for this midfield. And Sanchez, which is their right back, is someone who constantly gets forward out the flanks, and they were missing that here today. So I think that there's some of the pointers that maybe missed out on Guadalajara side.
And John, so where do we go from here, from the Sounders perspective? I'm going to go back to Nico in a second to look at the Chivas side.
Well, Sounders perspective, you go to Guadalajara with a goal up, you get an away goal. That's what you got to push for, and play defensively, and at the same time, keep his Chivas as frustrated as possible. If you get an away goal, it's a huge, huge boost to this side's chances, just because it gives you 2 goals total, plus the away goal tiebreaker that you were able to keep a clean sheet here tonight.
Are you forcing the issue down there, Nico? I mean, is that smart for the Sounders, or do you sit back, park the bus, and take a little taxi ride when you get a chance?
Yeah, no, I think you need to possess the ball. This is a possess-based team. That's what they do best. It's easier to defend yourself with the ball than without it. You can't just go out there and just park the bus. Now, if I may highlight just 2 players real quick, sure. I think Waylon Francis and Hanawala were fantastic. His debut, Hanawala, a player who just came out of college, his composure on the ball, niftiness, ability to take on players, very crisp on his passes. I think that he was great. And Waylon Francis, I've said it, I know Nuhu's a very exciting player, but Waylon plays the position so naturally. He knows when he'll come in, he knows when to push, when not to, and is a very sound player overall. That cross he had here, he just sees the field very well.
Stephen, I know we talked about this, you and I, about the money aspect of this. Sounders got some homegrown players that are really coming up and making a difference on this team.
Yeah, you know, a thing that a lot of people are talking about in the league this week is that the MLS sides who are successful in Champions League right now are guys who are playing a lot of Americans and a lot of homegrown players. And that really says good things about our league. you can just let me make a point wrapping up tonight's game, Maz, I'd just say the Sounders, and Brian Schmetzer mentioned it after the game, were a team that showed mental toughness and fortitude tonight. And Chivas de Guadalajara, sitting at 16th out of 18th overall in Liga MX, they looked like a team who, despite having quite a bit of the play tonight, were going to find a way to not take the best result possible. For me, it's a difference in the locker room and the mentality. And whether it's young players, whether it's Americans, whether it's anyone else, I think it's the mentality that got Sounders by this evening.
Mentality, mental fortitude, call it what you want. Sounders pull off 1-0. They're up one goal. They're going down to Chivas. He's John Marshall. He's Nick Moreno. He's Stephen Hagan. I'm Osvita Maria. Thank you for joining us for Postgame on the Pitch.